I made the entire S&P 500's return in 1 year in 25 minutes.
Yeah, I'm on a different level, different pedigree. Remember how you chose them instead of me?
This brings me to $5,000 for the month. Average green day so far is about 1,300 bucks, so a little bit slower.
I know you hate to watch me become.
Yo, George.
Yo, what's up, brother? What are you doing in Jersey?
It's time to live trade here, bro. Let's do it. All right, George, let me show you what I'm working with here, cuz I feel like last time we did this video, I didn't have this much shit here, you know what I'm saying? So obviously this is my main trading computer. This is where all the executions get done. So this is Cobra Trading right here. Over here, now I have big trades. So I have a secondary broker for small accounts here that I'm growing. Over here is like all the live streaming stuff because we stream on YouTube every single day. iPad is MIC, chat, news, and everything else. And then my laptop is just a backup of everything else. So if one of these monitors goes down, if something's not working here, I have a backup here ready to go. So I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens on a mobile setup. And maybe it's like a 5.5. Kind of looking like a little bit of a slower day. Market opens up here in about an hour. The CLRO here ran like crazy yesterday from 7 all the way to 16. So we avoided it all day yesterday, but now it's kind of coming back down. There's some new stocks taking attention. It's a day 2 stock, so maybe we might have an opportunity to short that on a bounce. Might be a little bit riskier, but you know, in 1 hour, a lot of stuff could change. It could continue to get weaker, which will reinforce my thought, or it might get stronger and I might just avoid it. So right now, during pre-market, our job is to determine which stocks are strong so that we could avoid them on the short side, and which stocks are weak so that we could start to join that trend. All right, George, let's see what you've been working with, cuz. You've been trading for how long now? Almost 3 years?
3.5 years.
3.5 years. Let's see what you're up to here.
What do you think? I told Alex to trade on here, but I know he's got the mobile setup already.
I think George just wants me to trade his account. Maybe we should do it on the next video. Maybe leave a comment if you want me to come in here and trade George's account.
Lord knows I need it.
James is commenting, come to my house too. So yeah, let's see. We got about still like an hour till the open. So now it's time to just kind of look around, see what's moving, see the opportunities, and then take it from there. So right now what I see on this CLRO is, I mean, you can see that there's very clear support right over here in this $12 mark. So you can see supported here, and supported here. So chances are if it breaks 12, whether it be pre-market or at the open, any bounce is gonna be a good short, because remember, this thing came from $7. So even if it goes from 12 to 11 and bounces to like 13, there's still $5, $6 worth of range to make money on.
Good morning.
Yo.
Yo.
What up, bro? How you doing?
Pretty much done for today. I thought it was gonna be a no trade day, and then I'll kind of explain my trade in a bit, but got a nice trade on NCRA.
I mean, bro, it's just mostly like a nail and bail type of market right now. You know, just taking the money. If you remember yesterday's CLRO, we said to kind of avoid that, and it turned out to be the best decision ever. Oftentimes what ends up happening is a lot of these stocks that move, usually it's one stock that takes all the attention, and if there's nothing else taking attention, it finds a way to zombie itself back. So that's exactly what happened on this CLRO yesterday.
Yeah, it was a great call. Great call to avoid.
I was actually talking to my dad about this yesterday, and we were talking about how much money is being bet on like the World Cup. Like every game, like if you go on like Kalshi and Poly Market, like it tells you like how much is being bet. Like every soccer game is being like $100 million just on Kalshi is being bet per game. No one has money right now, and they think that the only way to make money is to gamble, because that's the fastest way to make money.
Yep.
And what ends up happening is you make all of the gambling companies rich, and then you get poor.
Yeah. I mean, imagine you had invested that money into the market for the past, 10 years. What that would have turned into.
Have you ever used a compound interest calculator?
Did I send it to my friends all the time? Because they're all starting to have kids. So I send it to them, and I'm like, you need to start doing this early. And I show them, but nobody believes it, dude. Nobody believes it when you see it.
So compound interest calculator. So let's say, I don't know, you got like 15K to invest right now. So 15,000. Let's say every month you contribute what? $2,000 a month, maybe, if you could contribute. So if you're able to contribute $2,000 a month, let's say you're my age, which is 31, and you want to retire a little bit earlier than 65, so 60. So let's make the math easy, 30 years. So if you have $15,000 in your account now, if you contribute just $2,000 a month and you go for 30 years, the market usually returns about 10% a year, but just for argument purposes, let's say 8%. So we're underestimating. That means that by the time you're 60, you'll have $3 million. So if you invest $15,000, you add $2,000 a month, and the market underperforms, by the time retirement comes, you'll have $3 million. Now let me tell you a different story. Just change the math a little bit. Let's do 4,000 monthly contribution. Let's change the 8 to 10%. $8.1 million. I think a lot of people don't understand how much money could add up over time. And the biggest variable in this equation is the time. But we're old in 30 years. I mean, dude, you can't have it all, right? I mean, the reality is that, you know, you should have been doing this years ago, minus inflation. You know, inflation's at 3% a year. So if you're making 10%, change the number to 7%. You know, like again, at the end of the day, guys, the point is that you're making millions of dollars. You're literally making millions of dollars. Whether you adjust for inflation, 2%, 3%, whether you do 2,000, 1,000, the real money comes when you have like actual money. This compound interest calculator was something that I learned, you know, very early on in my trading career, is the power of how much this stuff adds up. Again, I'm using George as an example because George is here. George, how much you lose on that parlay? How much have you lost sports betting this month on World Cup?
Couple $100.
Call it $500. If George took that $500 that he's sports gambled on the World Cup and instead just put that $500 towards his monthly contribution, that's where it all adds up. So whether you're 30, whether you're 40, whether you're 50, the only difference is if you have less time on your hand, contribute more, right? Because I assume that if you're in your 50s or your 40s, you're probably making a little bit more than the 50, 60K. The point is, guys, that money adds up over time. And the sooner that you could put your money to work, the faster it will add up. So use the compound interest calculator, start playing with the numbers yourself. George invested his money during COVID. So about 6 years ago, George invested his money into the market. And with that money, he bought himself a house. The best time to start was yesterday. The second best time to start is now. So everyone always talks about the tariffs that happened last year. If you bought during the tariffs last year, you would have doubled your money. Everyone talks about the Iran war that happened last April. If you bought during the Iran war, you would have had a 50% return. And now Trump ended the ceasefire again. I don't know about you guys, but it seems like the right opportunity to buy. So if you are in your 20s and 30s, bro, if you do this right, you will be a millionaire. If you are in your 40s and 50s, you probably already have an established career and it's time to contribute more money into your savings. With that being said, let's get started with live trading here today. One of the main topics I wanted to talk about today is risk management. So we've had a lot of new members joining MIC, and I think a lot of people, I want to just harp on the fact of risk management to start. Most people could make money in the market, but making money in the market isn't the hard part. Keeping the money in your pocket is the hard part, and that is risk management. So I think that every single member in MIC, every single trader, whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on wherever you're watching it on, you have to have a max loss set at the broker level. Because here's the reality. When you have a loss, let's just say the math, to make the math easy, is $500. Once you're at your $500 loss, most traders, they become a deer in headlights. You freeze, you panic, you don't know what to do. Even me, after 12 years of trading, I still struggle with stopping out if I don't have a hard stop in place. So how could you have someone like me that's been doing it for 12 years that still struggles with doing it when you've been trading for 12 days and you think you could do it on your own? That's like saying, right before I'm gonna get into a car crash, I wanna manually do the airbag myself. If you did that, you would die. So wouldn't you rather have the car do the airbag for you? You know, when you start thinking about it logically like that, you're like, damn, dude, like that's kind of crazy. Like, why wouldn't I do that? So every trader, no matter what, if you're listening to this right now, you have to contact your broker and set a max loss auto liquidation. It should be no more than 2 days worth of work, right? So if you're making $100 a day, you should set your max loss auto liquidation to $200. Why? Because on your absolute worst possible day, you will only lose 2 days worth of work. I've seen so many people that make $100 a day that set their max loss to $5,000. It takes them 3 months to make back the money. It makes no sense. So every single person right now, contact your broker. You know how much money you're making per day. Even George has an auto liquidation. George, if you did not have your auto liquidation, what would have happened?
I would probably have no account right now, to be honest. because I've had, you know, listen, the bad days are gonna come. You know, it's not every day is sunshine and rainbows. You know, it's a trading market. It's a cold world out there, and there's a lot of traps, a lot of like, you know, different things going on in the market. You know, so even being 3.5 years in and thinking I know everything, I really don't. You know, because even this year I had one day where if I didn't get all liquidated, I would have been a crazy Arab and just said, you know what, I'm gonna keep going, and I would have lost my account.
Point is, it's like your seat bag and your airbag. You don't want that shit to go off, but if it goes off, you're very thankful that it did. So the reality is this, guys, please, if you take nothing, if you leave and you quit and you say the only thing that I ask you to do is set your max loss auto liquidation with your broker right now. And if your broker does not allow you to do it, chances are you're with the wrong broker. The concept that I want you guys to learn is trading is a way to make you rich. And then once you're rich, your job is to invest that money to become wealthy. So now trading is a source of income for me to invest in all different types of assets, you know, whether it be venture capital, real estate, crypto, whatever you want to invest in. But trading is the way to make active income. And then you turn that active income into passive income by investing it into a bunch of other things. So with that being said, let's get started by building the watch list. So the way that we build the watch list, we always go to the previous day's watch list first and we build from there. So let me go to the previous day's watch list. Obviously, I'm trading on a laptop again. I hate trading on a laptop. Laptop lifestyle is... So I'm gonna be creating the watch list on a separate screen and then sharing it. So let's start with yesterday's plays, CLRO. So CLRO, yesterday I avoided this stock. You know, I said that it's high volume, it's holding strong. It did a little bit of a trap towards the market open here, dipped down and then reclaimed and just kind of went to the moon. Today it's kind of considered a low-hanging fruit, meaning not really much eyeballs on it. So you can see that there's support at $12 here. $12, so $12 support here, $12 support here, and it broke support. Ah, look at that. The reality is that now it's kind of under support, so I would love a bounce. You know, I would love a bounce towards 13, 14, and maybe even 15 to scale in short. SkyQ, so SkyQ, Trump came out last night and said that the ceasefire with Iran is over. He said he's gonna bomb the hell out of them. He said you can't trust them, this, that, the other thing. So all of these oil companies are going crazy again. So SkyQ is an oil and gas play. So because it's in a sector that's moving, I am most likely not gonna touch it. The last 15 times that Trump said anything with Iran, the next day he reversed course. So I'm expecting that in the next couple days, he's gonna say he loves Iran, they're his people, whatever BS it is, right? But in the meantime, SkyQ is in a sector that's moving, which is oil and gas, so mostly ignoring. So TDTH, you know, another low-hanging fruit play, maybe like 250, you know, 275 and 3. IOTR, maybe a pop towards VWAP to short. IOTR, pop toward VWAP to short. Mostly main watch here is CLRO, and then SkyQ is gonna be in a void, and all the other stocks, if they're in play. So let me just kind of share this out so everyone has the watch list, and then we're gonna continue with the next topic of the day. That's it, so we got about 3 minutes here. We should do an Alex AI Q&A again. So have you seen this Alex AI, George, or no?
Yeah, I have.
Bro, the AI is so good. So if you are a member in MIC, we now give you guys access to our exact AI. This AI has watched all of our MIC videos. It has read every single message in Slack, and Alex AI V3 is now almost not ready yet, but Alex AI V3 is going to be able to read messages in real time. So it's going to have real-time messaging capabilities pretty soon, which is gonna also do some trade alerts, and then eventually we wanna see if this freaking robot could trade too. So let's do a really quick demonstration. Let's do the CLRO again, right? I mean, we might as well. Last time we did this, it gave us a game plan on CLRO. So big move. 12 looks like key support breakdown area. Do not chase weakness. I'd wait for a bounce first. Watch for a bounce towards 12, 12.50, and 13. Use small size only. Confirmation.
Pretty much what you said.
That's pretty much what I said. So market's open here. That's crazy. So if you guys see something moving, call it out, call it out, call it out. NCRA trying to bounce. Let's see. So watching this CLRO, if it bounces, watching NCRA if it bounces. CLRO waiting for any type of bounce if we get it. Will not be chasing weakness. TVRD is moving, but the problem is if TVRD reclaims yesterday's highs of like 380s, it becomes very, very bullish. So I'm not really interested in TVRD, to be honest. IOTR is moving, okay. So we got IOTR moving and CLRO. Maybe IOTR, I would like a bounce towards 4. You can see there is some resistance here at that like 358 area, but it's just not enough, dude. Ideally, I want this to bounce, bro. Give me like maybe like 380-ish. You know, that'd be nice. So got a starter here on IOTR around 369. You know, I see this little resistance area here, so I'm just gonna take it slow and small just to start. I want to leave room for like $4 though. CLRO watching as well, maybe towards 13-ish. I'll take a starter. I never want to go in full size on my first entry, because sometimes what I've found about my own personal trading is my first, this CLRO just cracked. Oh man. Oh no, that's annoying. No chance. So something I've noticed about my own personal trading is my first entry is usually wrong because I get like really, really excited. So I always make sure that my first entry has like a little bit smaller size. So for example, if I want to get 1,000 shares on in my first entry, instead of getting 1,000 shares on my first entry, maybe I'll do like 500 or 600 to give myself a little bit of room. Oh, here we go. IOTR, dip down. No ads yet, no sizing up yet. Covered some at 349 for 20 cents a share. So very risk-free, no stress, 20 cents a share. Again, there's certain days where you should be sizing up in your trading, and there's certain days where you're kind of taking it slow. So I always ask myself, is it better to size up on a day like today or size down? From what I'm seeing, is not really much sizing up. And you can see here, George, I'm not using much size and it's all adding up, you know?
Right.
You know, I'm not putting on 1 million shares of these stocks, you know? Like right there at 369, I put on 2,000 shares. With 2,000 shares, if you make 20 cents, which I did, is $400. So technically I made $400 in 2 minutes. So 2,000 shares equals 6,000 in liability. I wouldn't use the word liability, I would use, you know, capital. So it's like I'm using $6,000 to make $400. I mean, that seems like a pretty good return to me. CLRO is so weak, man. Look at that, dude. Oh man, no chance on CLRO. It went down to 1080, George.
Where did it bounce to?
Nothing, like 1230. So IOTR trying to bounce, considering shorting this bounce because I have very small size anyway. So we shorted this bounce here at 363. Again, my plan is I want this to go towards 4. So I am not all in at these levels. If you're anything more than like 10% of your size, you're in a little bit too big. I want 4 and I welcome 4. And because I was able to reduce some on the dip, now I'm reshorting the bounce. So I have a realized PnL cushion already. I have locked in a small percentage of my PnL, which allows me now to reshort the bounces. And wait, here we go, nice fail. Covered some 53, covered some 48. So I made 20 cents one time, I made another 20 cents another time. Now I made 40 cents a share on small size. What is the grade of IOTR? At these current levels, without it being at $4, without it being at VWAP, I would grade it a C setup. So I am using C setup size, which for me is, you know, only a couple $1,000s at risk. So support here I see is around 342. So I want to be as close to 342 as possible for the next cover. And then you can see here, next support is going to be this 334. CLRO, just endless sellers, man. Endless freaking sellers. No, I just needed one bounce, bro. So if we dip down here around like 345, I have an open order to reduce some more and then waiting for that next support. Let's see. 345. It's only been 14 minutes since the market opened. Really dead, dull day. My first entry is usually wrong because I'm so excited. So you just have to reduce your size on that first entry. You know, that way, let's say, for example, you want to put 1,000 shares, put on 300 shares, put on something really small. If it does get to your ideal entry eventually, that you're not oversizing. So what is the stop loss for this trade? So my stop loss is not even being considered yet because I want to add toward VWAP. So my probably stop is going to be a reclaim of the VWAP area, but I want to add first. I am only in very, very partial sizes. I am in very, very small size because not at my ideal level yet. My ideal level is this VWAP area. It's not there yet. So because it's not there yet, I don't want to oversize. This trade may just work out with small size, which is totally fine with me. You have a rule of always scalping out some if you trade a starter. My rule is not scalping out of some if I have a starter. I want to take a little bit of profits and put it in my pocket, because I found that when I have even a little bit of a realized PnL cushion, it makes me more confident in the trade, that then I'm like, you know what, bro, I'll just risk the realized PnL and take it back to break even. So I always like to just reduce some into the dip to build that PnL cushion, so that if things go wrong, I could risk that PnL and go back to break even. So if I really wanted, I could add on this bounce here, but like, I really don't. I'd rather save my bullets, man. I'd rather save my ammo. If I have 20 bullets in my clip, I'd rather save as many bullets as I can just in case. Magazine, yeah, magazine. So let's see, 372 is the highs. It does seem like it's gonna break the highs, but notice guys, I've locked in profits twice. You can see very clear as day. Look at the resistance here, right? The resistance here in this 385, 386 matches that VWAP area. So hopefully it bounces to VWAP. I could get a little bit more aggressive, and if it just fails, I made money on small size, no big deal. So I moved my order from 345 to 343 because it definitely looks like a fail here. It's 949. You know, if I really want, I could close out the trade here, walk away for the day, but I'd rather just try to make that extra 15, 20 cents. I still got time. CLRO is bouncing, but it's gonna need a way bigger bounce, man. So if you're anything more than like 10% of your size on this IOTR, you're in too big. So just a size check. You know, this is not a trade that's gonna change my life, guys. I don't wanna be taking trades like this because it doesn't really move the needle for me. You know, a couple $100 is not gonna change my life, but it at least keeps the juices flowing. It at least keeps me in tune with the market. So you can see this IOTR is kind of making these higher lows here. So if we break these higher lows, it should confirm. But SkyQ is that oil and gas play, so I'm not really interested in that one.
He's gonna break one way or the other, it looks like.
This is the uptrend line, so if it breaks that uptrend line, it's toast, you know? Falling asleep here. But again, my size is so small, guys. I am in 10% of my size. So that technically means, that if it goes to my ideal area, I could go 10 times bigger. So I don't want to use all the bullets in my mag right now. Alex, what's your max daily loss these days? Wait, one second, this thing is squeezing up. So basically, my max daily loss is the same process that I tell you. So no more than 2 days worth of work. I say like my average day is about 10,000. So if I lose $20,000, I will get auto liquidated. So here we go, IOTR. Let's see if we finally get towards that 380, 390 area that we've been looking for all morning. So it kind of looks like a fail. So I added a little bit here on this fail, 369. That's a fail. There it is again. There we go. Another 20 cents a share right there. And we finally broke the uptrend line. Now we double topped and broke the uptrend line. Man, who's calling me right now? I can't pick that up. I'll call him back. So now we have a double top here and we have a break of the uptrend. I don't know about you guys, but this seems pretty damn confirmed to me. So now three times I made 20 cents a share. So really good. Oh, SkyQ about to halt up. Man, did we not call that on the watch list? SkyQ, sector play with ceasefire news, most likely ignoring the short. CLRO still acting heavy as hell, man. So really big move on SkyQ, good avoid knowing that the sector of oil and gas will be a reason for this to be alive more. So we're kind of holding that higher low again. So now I'm kind of running out of patience. So I'm gonna reduce some more into the dip, because how is it that we have a death candle like that and we still hold a higher low? So I reduced more at 360. So now I'm being even more cautious. Like, it's taking too long now, right? It did its death candle and it reclaimed. I'm sitting at 365, so I'm all out for now. Maybe the Alex indicator is gonna activate. But what I'm seeing here to cause me to go all out is it had this death candle, guys, right? It had this death candle, and this death candle should have cratered the stock. But why is it holding up? I don't know why it's holding up. I don't care why it's holding up. I'm just adjusting. So for now, I am out and just waiting. As of right now, again, using very, very small size, 1,000 to 2,000 shares, you know, I was able to make around 500 bucks. You know, we still have about 30 minutes until the zombie time. If this does end up breaking, if it does end up changing, I have no problem. But my whole thing is like, I have to adapt to what I see. George tells me that, you know what, bro, today I don't want to drink. I only want to have one shot and one beer. And I'm gonna say, okay, George, you're gonna have one shot and one beer. If I start to see that George is slurring his words, George can't see straight and he's texting his ex-girlfriend. He must have went and had shots in the back that I didn't see, so I have to adjust the plan. The plan went from having a good time with George to now making sure that he doesn't fight anyone, right? So I have to adjust my plan in real time based on the data that I'm seeing. The data that I saw was this was a beautiful death candle on elevated volume, under VWAP, and a break of the uptrend. So we got a double top, a death candle, a break of VWAP, and a break of the uptrend. But why didn't it break? I don't know. So I don't want to be involved. Siren went off in my head that says just get out and wait. Now if it bounces towards that 380 or 390, I have a completely cash position. I can get back in, and now I have even more PnL to use. You know what's gonna happen, right? The indicator's gonna go off. That's what's gonna happen.
Usually what does.
Profits for a day.
Yep.
And you know what the best part of this day was, man? The best part of this day so far is I was never really down and I was never really stressed.
Right.
You know, you see how clean this type of trading could be. It may be a little bit slower. Yeah, maybe you're not gonna make gazillions of dollars every day, but if you could show up and make $500 a day, $500 a day times 250 trading days in the year is $125K. We're making that money in our, knock on wood, with our eyes closed. Even less, cuz even it's been like what? My first trade was 34, last trade was 10, so what is that? 26 minutes. Why it's so difficult to talk about size, because you know my 500 shares might be your entire account leveraged 100 times. You know, you never know.
Right.
So George's full size is my leave the house, travel the world, and not even care about its size.
Meanwhile, I'm like sweating, you know?
So that's why it's very difficult to talk about size. So I talk about percentage of size.
I can get up to like 750 or 1,000.
All right, George. Okay, you can get to 750. I believe you, George. I believe you.
Joe, I'm filming right now. I'm not making any money, all right? You gotta relax. Calling my ass out all morning.
So, relatively stress-free day here at $442, enough to pay for dinner tonight. If we count this $400 day into my spreadsheet, this brings me to $5,000 for the month. Average green day so far is about $1,300, so a little bit slower. That's it. All right.
How you feeling?
I feel fine. I feel the same. I feel exactly the same as I did.
Bro, this is how you sit on your car? Bro, I'm like, dude, look at this, dude.
This is how I sit, bro.
George like mobbing around like this, bro. Look at this.
You might be able to fall asleep on that chair like
bro,
that, bro.
What? You drive regularly like this.
This is regularly how I drive.
Even my legs are not even able to reach the pedal. What is this, cuz? If I drive like this, bro, I'll kill someone.
So we just finished up live trading for the day here, guys. It's around 11 a.m. So we're gonna go get some lunch. Started to work out again lately, so I wanna eat healthy. Started to realize that what is the point of having tons of money if you don't have your health? And a lot of people sacrifice for different things in their life, and I sacrifice my health for wealth, just like Lance has said in the past. And I kind of want to fix that, so I'm gonna go get a nice, healthy Chipotle meal, and on the way there, we'll have some Q&A. So George, what's been on your mind, bro? What do you think of today's live trading session? What could we have done better? And yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say you could do anything better, but it's nice to see you. Like, obviously, listen, we see you every day live, right? And it's obviously one of the biggest benefits, I think, in the, you know, since the almost 4 years I've been trading now, right? But just to be in person, just to ask you any questions, just see it real time, your sizing, I mean, just like the profits you're making and everything is really cool. And obviously these YouTube videos we're doing are gonna show a little more of that, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna get you a gas, cuz.
I don't have to do that, bro.
This is the least I could do, bro.
This is real time, real stuff. This is what Alex does, bro. So how you feeling after today?
I feel fine, bro. I feel like exactly how I always feel. I mean, I can't complain. I wish it was a lot busier of a day to make some more money. I wish it was a lot, you know, more action. But what you have to realize about the market is all based on the opportunities that you see in front of you. Like, I would love to make $100,000 a day. I would love to make $1 million a day. But if the market is not giving me that opportunity, if I force it, I will lose. Bro, I've been trading for 12 and a half years. The best part about trading for this long is I've done every single mistake
100,000 times at least. So I learned it's better to walk away from your trading. I learned on a slow day it's better not to push. I learned that it's okay to understand that we're in a little bit of a slower market cycle. That's just the thing, is like, I've made that mistake. 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, I would push harder on a slow day to make money. I would keep trading throughout the day to make more money. And now what I realize is, like, we have the freedom to do whatever we want.
That's actually a good segment into like one of my first questions here. One of my first questions was, what's the difference, in your opinion, between a trader that makes 100K a year, 500K a year, and 2 million a year?
Yeah, I think honestly, dude, the hardest thing is to get from 0 to 100K. Okay. If you get from 0 to 100K, man, anything else is scalable.
Right.
But that zero, it's like what they say, the first million is always the hardest, right? Because once you have more money, it's easier to make more money.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So my thing is first get to that point of being a consistent trader, and all you have to do from there is just scale up your size. And if you think about it, George, what we did today in live trading was we made like, call it $500 to make the math easy.
Right.
We ran the math. If you do $500 a day times 250 trading days in the year, that's 125K.
Right.
We just demonstrated what it is to make 100K in a year.
And that's real time, real story, real everything. You know, I mean,
everything.
we're not looking to make thousands every day. You know, it's whatever the market gives.
I would love to.
Yeah.
Dude, like, there was a point at the beginning of the year when like silver, gold, and oil and all these things went buck wild, bro.
Yeah.
They went buck wild, and I had some of my biggest trades of the year when those opportunities were present.
Right.
But now those opportunities are not present, so I'm not trying to make gold, silver, and oil money when the opportunity's not there.
Right.
Nice car, cuz. It's a nice car.
A little pickup, right?
It's got a lot of pickup, dude. It's like a go-kart.
All right. So what's something you do every day that most profitable or non-profitable traders don't do? Like, what's something like? Is there a routine you do? I mean, I know you started working out in the morning, which maybe like helps you, maybe gives you a little more motivation, gives you a little more like health. But what's something that normally you do that that maybe someone doesn't?
Well, I think the most important thing that you have to do is review your trades. So what I do is usually towards the end of the day, I like to just pull up the charts that I traded, review my trades, see what I did right, what I did wrong, and how I can improve. So on today's example of IOTR, I mean, we'll pop it up on the screen, but the stock cratered again after I got out, right? So it's just the Alex indicator that we always talk about, which is every time I get out of the stock, it always crashes lower. But I'd rather complain about the stock crashing and not making more money than complain about not making money at all. So it always goes back to the same thing of being a little bit more patient, letting trades work out more. But at the end of the day, my goal right now is I am okay making less money, being a little bit less patient to have the freedom to do this, right? Most people are at work. Most people are at their day jobs. We're having a great time driving around and getting a good lunch together. Like, that to me is more valuable than sitting at my desk for a couple extra hours and making a couple extra bucks.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, like a lot of traders, like MIC or not, they like to sit around all day. They're trading all day. So it's kind of like it's to a point where okay, you love trading and you want to do that, but I mean, talk about health purposes. I know you've been there. You've had your days where you traded all day.
And are you trading all day because the opportunity is there, or are you trading all day because you're bored?
Right.
If you're bored, honestly, Bao says it. He's like, it's better to shop on Amazon than to keep trading. And my example would be, better to play video games, dude. Yeah. I know it sounds crazy. Why would you play video games in the afternoon? But if you playing video games prevents you from taking a boredom trade that costs you $500, that video game is the best thing that you could have done. Some people are addicted, bro. Like, I am addicted to the markets. I'm always checking my phone. I'm always checking prices. But I put things in place to force me not to continue to trade. And my rule is the zombie rule, 10:30 a.m. We call it the zombie rule because dead stocks come back to life like a zombie. I would rather not keep trading because trading is not like a regular job. The more hours you put into trading in front of the screen does not mean that you make more money, right? More trades is not more money. You could sit there and you could watch and you could learn, but a lot of people don't have that self-control, dude.
What's one belief about the market that changed everything for you?
So I always thought that to make big money in the market, you needed big money. But what I realized is that's actually not true, dude. It's all dependent on the opportunity in front of you. So I always thought that, like, all right, to be a millionaire trader, you have to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a day. Like, that's the way you do it. You got to make hundreds of thousands of dollars a day, $10,000 a day, whatever. But what I learned is the more you size up, the more your risk goes up too. So what that means is you might be making $20,000 a day, but now you might be losing $20,000 as well. Right. So what I found is that consistency in smaller amounts yields to more profits. The basic math is this, bro. $2,000 a day is $500,000 a year. So would I rather make $500,000 a year swinging up and down and being stressed, or would I rather just make $2,000 a day? I could make that $2,000 a day with my eyes closed, bro, with my eyes closed. So that's how I want to stick to my trading, is instead of trying to go for the big swings, 20, 30, 40, 50K in a day, which if the opportunity is there, I'll take it. But I remind myself $2,000 a day is $500,000 a year, $4,000 a day is $1 million a year, and it's a lot easier to make $2,000 to $4,000 in a day than it is to make $40,000 in a day.
I feel like a lot of it has to do with some mental, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, at the end of the day, like, the more you push, it comes with more stress.
Right.
And after doing this for 12 and a half years, dude, I don't want to be stressed anymore. All I want to do is make my very easy, predictable money, which you saw today, which you saw in the previous videos, which you've seen in every single one of my videos, is I optimize for low stress, because that's what my goal is.
Bro, even just today on, what was it, IOTR?
Yeah.
I mean, you had only a couple hundred shares.
Bro, I had like maximum 2,000 shares. Like I had 1,000 to 2,000 shares on a $3 stock.
Right.
So with a $6,000 position, I made close to 8%.
Yeah.
I made the entire S&P 500's return in 1 year in 25 minutes.
Yeah, when you put it that way, it's just like, it's a no-brainer. Let's say, I know you took 3 weeks off, you know, and you had the vacation, you went with your wife, it looked awesome, you came back, you hit it strong.
Yep.
Let's say you had, you just had an epiphany, you're like, you know what, I'm gonna take, you know, a bunch of time off the market, I really wanna go travel, you know, health is, you know, is really important to me, I wanna go, like, see things. Let's say you took 6 months off, you disappeared for 6 months, how would you rebuild your edge from scratch?
Yeah, I mean, dude, it's first things first, is 6 months is a long time. So you'd have to know what's happening in the market. Like, even if you think about what happened 6 months ago right now, 6 months ago right now is when, like, gold was going crazy, when silver was going to replace the dollar, oil was going insane. So, like, if you don't know what the current theme of the market is, if you don't know what's currently moving the markets, that's going to be really difficult. So first things first, I would see what is the headlines, what is the market sentiment, what is going on? Are AI stocks strong? Is healthcare stock strong? Is robotics moving? Like, what is happening, to first understand the theme of the market. Like right now, if you remember, SkyQ was going crazy. SkyQ was going crazy because the oil and gas play, and oil and gas plays are moving right now.
Right.
So without knowing that information, if I just started to randomly trade that stock, I'd probably lose money, you know? So that'd be the first thing. And then the second thing is back to basics, dude. Like, sticking to the broken stocks, waiting for them to come to the key resistance areas, and slowly scale in. I would definitely size down dramatically to start off. Let's say I was using 10,000 shares on my day-to-day, I'd probably size down to like 3,000 shares until I get the handle of everything again, you know?
So like a quarter to a third of your position.
Just to, like, as I'm easing back into it, dude, it's like, I don't know, like what, I mean, like, I don't know, like, think about an example of, like, you haven't driven in a car in a year, you know? The first time you get in a car, the first 5-10 minutes, you're gonna drive a little bit slower until you get, you know, the hang of it again.
Right.
Once you get the hang of it again, do whatever the hell you want.
What's the hardest lesson the market taught you that no book, even the market wizards, could teach you?
The hardest lesson, I think, that a book can't teach you is stress management. Because this is a very stressful career sometimes, you know, like like, think about exercise. Like, when you exercise, you start to see results within like a couple of months, let's say, right? You start to slim down a little bit, your muscles have more definition. It's been like a couple months, and after those couple months, you start to get a little bit more confidence, and with that confidence, it helps you to keep going. Right. In trading, you might not see those results for 3 years. So it's very, very difficult and very stressful to continue to do something without seeing the results. Right? The perseverance to keep continuing without seeing the results is the hardest part. My first year trading, I lost money. My second year trading, I broke even. My third year trading, I started making $100 a day. It was very difficult to keep continuing when it took me years and years to get to that point, but I was so young that what other option did I have? So it was the perfect timing to be able to do it while I was young, because I had no other options. But as a trader, when you're first getting started, like think about you, George, you've been doing it for like 3 years and you found your consistency, but it'd be very difficult to keep going with that consistency if you didn't have like a role model, or if you didn't have a process, or if you didn't have a community of people being able to bring you up when you're down.
I mean, if I didn't have MIC, I would be lost. Yeah, it would be really hard, because with the community, the alerts, the guidance, it all just put together. It's just like, it's a no-brainer, you know? It expedites everything.
That's the point, bro. That's the point. The point is, like, we could do this shit alone, but like, wouldn't it be so much better to do it with not only people that you love, but people that are interested in the same thing?
Right. And that brings me to my next question. Okay, if you were to go back to Alex, 11 and a half years ago, you're 12 and a half years in now?
Yep.
11 and a half years ago, you're a year in, Alex, non-profitable trader Alex. What's one thing you would ask 11 and a half years ago Alex to ask him what the hell he's doing to get him to move forward in like a right direction quicker?
My biggest thing back then, dude, is I didn't know about stops, right? I didn't know about broker regulated stops. I knew about stop loss orders. I knew about basic stops, but I didn't know that you could have your broker step in and stop you out. I was stubborn, dude. I'm still stubborn. It's like the Middle Eastern in us is the problem. I mean, think about your dad, think about my dad. They're stubborn, bro. They're old, they're grumpy, So the thing is that, like, for me, if I was to go back, I would tell my younger self about broker regulated stops and setting a daily max loss auto liquidation. I didn't have a max loss auto liquidation at that point because I didn't know it existed. So the way that you set a max loss auto liquidation, it should be no more than 2 days worth of your trading. So if you make $100 a day trading, set your max loss auto liquidation to $200. That way, on your worst possible day, you only lose 2 days worth of work. What people do is they set their max loss at fucking 10,000. They lose a year's worth of work and it takes them forever to make it back. So my biggest advice to myself would have been set that broker regulated stop so that, dude, I would have probably had an extra millions of dollars, dude, millions.
Yeah.
Because I would have figured that out earlier and then scaled my trading bigger, faster,
You think you would have had millions from like the small trades or like the couple big trades that you had big losses?
From preventing large losses,
right,
and from being able to have more confidence to push bigger because I didn't lose so much in the beginning.
Right. That's another thing. I'm noticing that if I have a losing day, my confidence goes down pretty quick, and I have to realize that losing days will happen.
Yep.
And you can keep the confidence up.
That's it. Yeah. That's it. So let's get some food, George, and we'll continue. How are we not gonna get the Superman ice cream?
Oh man.
Oh my god, I gotta get
You love that
out of
shit.
here, bro. I wish I could just be obese, bro. I'd love to be just fucking 800 pounds, dude, just eating ice cream all day long. We're not gonna talk about it anymore. Go back to the questions, guys. Let's stay distracted.
Yeah.
We gotta be distracted.
All right, so you said you review your trades when you get back to your desk, right?
Yep.
After every trade, what questions do you ask yourself? Like, what exactly is going through your head during those reviews?
Basically, what my thought process is I just want to make sure that what did I do right on the trade, what did I do wrong, and how can I improve? That's always the same thing it comes down to is no matter what trade you take, there's always room for improvement, right? So as long as you're just starting to make little improvements in your trading, that's what pays the dividends long term. So I'm just reviewing, like, was I a little bit too early on my entries? Was I in a little bit too big? Like something that we spoke about earlier this morning, George, is that you said your first entry is usually wrong and you get in too big too quick. That's how it is for me too. So now what I do is I make sure my first entry is actually a little bit smaller than most, simply because I want to make sure that I leave myself room. If I know that my first entry is wrong, then why don't I just make sure that... Yeah, it's definitely a nice car, dude.
Not bad, right?
So if I know that my first entry is wrong, why don't I just make my first entry smaller than my second entry bigger?
Right. That makes sense. Let's say you had to mentor me for a year, right? I moved to Miami. I want, thank God I'm a profitable trader this year. The last like 2 months haven't been exactly the way I wanted them to. I had like a little bit bigger of a loss than I wanted to, but besides the fact, I'm pretty profitable. But if you had to mentor me for a year to get me like to the next level, to get me my size bigger, I'm at 500 to 1,000 shares. I'm not really exactly the biggest trader here. So I want to get up. I want to make a little more money. I want to be a little more consistent. What's the curriculum look like month to month? What would we do?
First things first is obviously attend live trading, which you're doing. Next thing is I would make you make a daily report card every single day. What is a daily report card? A daily report card is like, think about it, it's your grades. So how did you grade yourself for the day? For example, if you want to work on sizing up more aggressively, on the top, you would put sizing up more aggressively. And then you would give yourself notes. Like today I traded IOTR, it had a death candle and I hesitated, I should have added there. Next time I'm gonna add, stuff like that. So I would make sure that every single trade that you do, you review yourself after it and have it on paper. It's not enough that you just say, oh, like you're looking at your chart and you're like, okay, like this is what I'm gonna do next time. Chances are you're not gonna remember. So the more you have like a Rolodex of things that you could flip through and go through your trades, the better. Next thing I would do is I would make you watch an MIC video every single day. Then the next day I would ask you, what are 3 lessons that you learned from that video? So already, look at how much more work is being involved. You're grading yourself, you're giving yourself a report card, you're watching a video every day, and you're giving 3 lessons that you learned from that video. And then at the end of the month, I would make you do a monthly review of your trades. All of those report cards that you archived and that you did, at the end of the month, I would have you review those, all of them again, check your notes, and then set either a new goal for the next month or continue working on that same goal and how much progress you've gotten from that goal. It would be a lot of work, dude, but I guarantee you that if you give me a year of doing that, you will be a profitable 6-figure trader doing it. So the question is, what are you willing to commit to get to that point?
But it's cool because, like you said, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I'll be honest. Even on camera, I don't do a lot of those things right now. I try to watch a video here and there. Definitely don't watch one a day. But it's so easy now because in us, we have the whole library that's broken down into these nice small videos. They're nothing like, nothing too crazy. They're all nice and
8 to 10 minute videos, or
right.
maybe even that. And the thing is, bro, you drive all day long. So instead of calling your girlfriend for like 2 hours, just put on a video,
Right. The report card, they used to do that was that at SMV?
Yeah, they definitely still do it there. They definitely still do it there.
Yeah.
It's very simple, dude. Even with AI, all you have to do is go to like the audio mode on AI and talk to it. And be like, hey, I traded IOTR today. I was looking to do it under VWAP. I wanted to size up, but I kind of hesitated. It started to do a zombie move. It had higher lows, and then it failed, and then blah, blah. Tell them, please put that into a daily report card format for me.
Right.
And that's it. It'll do it for you.
Right.
Just talk to it, and it'll do it for you.
Right. I mean, now I could even take that trade and put it into Alex AI and have it, review my trade, what I did right, what I did wrong,
because that could be another column in your report card.
Right.
It could be your thoughts on it, and on the bottom put another thing that says Alex AI thought.
I think it's really cool that you can put a stock in there and it'll be like, hey, listen, like, these are the lines that I'm gonna give you for.
Isn't that insane?
It's real cool. Yeah.
Isn't that insane? So the thing about AI is that AI is all determined based on the data set that it is trained on. So our Alex AI has watched all 3,000 of our videos. How has it watched it? It's read the transcripts of the videos. It has read the transcripts of the years and years and years of messages that we put in chat, and it's read the transcripts of all the PDF documents and all of the guides that we've created for our members. It is better than me, dude.
What information causes you to change your mind the fastest?
Something that I don't like to see is when the stock has a death candle and then immediately reclaims that death candle. That to me in the past was like, oh, like let me see what's gonna happen. Let me give it a second to trade out. But after years and years of trading, dude, if a stock has a death candle and it reclaims that death candle, I just get out, dude.
One of the worst things.
I just get out.
Yeah.
So the death candle is a signal. It's a signal that the stock is breaking down. If it reclaims that, that means that the signal is no longer valid and your trade is no longer valid, so you should get out.
I haven't had the best 2 months. I think I've had consistency, but I've been a bonehead. I've been an idiot. I did stupid things, and I got carried away in certain trades that blew up in my face a little more, right? So I'm trying to find a way, Alex, to like understand my risk to ratio, my risk to reward ratio, right? So I want to I almost want to get in a certain spot, knowing like where I need to get out and where I need to, where I need to profit in that to make, double my risk, right? Because that's probably like a 2-to-1 makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like mentally, I have this in my head, but then I forget when I'm in the moment. So is it something that I should write down on a piece of paper? Is it something I should
So what I used to do, George, is actually a really great question, is I had Post-it notes. So before I would enter a trade, I would write my plan on a Post-it note. My entry, my exit, my stop, and my target.
Right.
And then I would take that Post-it note and Post-it note it to the screen where the chart is. So if it was IOTR and my plan was short 350, add at 320, target 280, stop $4. I would write down a Post-it note, and if IOTR was on my screen there, I would Post-it note it right there. And if it was XYZ stock, I would do it there. So all my screens were covered with Post-it notes. That way when I turned my head, I wouldn't have to re-reference my plan. My plan was already there in front of me.
Got it.
And if you come to my house, you're gonna see that behind my computer, I have so many Post-it notes because I have extras from when I was using it in the past.
That's actually something I really want to do, because I feel like I lose my discipline in a trade, I say, okay, like the one bad trade I had over the last 2 months, it was a $7 stock. I knew if it broke the 730 line, it would run. It right away past 735 went 750.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? Let me give it a second. Maybe it's gonna come back down 7. It shot up to 850.
Yep.
So it's like, bro, like I knew what to do.
Yeah.
I'm just an idiot, and I said, okay, I don't want to lose that extra 15 cents on the trade. Let me get it back. And I end up losing over $1 on the trade.
That's why we talk about the broker limited stops, bro. Like, we become deer in headlights. We freeze. We question ourselves, because the human nature, bro, is whenever we're in trouble, we go into survival mode.
Right.
It's fight or flight.
Yeah.
So that same human instinct happens in your trading too, whenever you're in trouble. So you need to be able to have the broker get you out. So in situations like that, it's very difficult to stop out on your own, dude. I've been trading for 12 years,
Yeah.
and it's still difficult for me. Imagine you've been trading 3 years, how difficult it is for you. So it's better in those scenarios, bro, to have your hard stop in place, set your hard stop at 735. That way, when it hits 750, you get out, you're like, oh, fuck, whatever, no big deal. You turn around, you go to the bathroom, you come back, it's at 850, you're like, oh, thank God that happened.
Right.
Right. So make sure you have a hard stop on all of your trades, George. Every single one.
Well, because then the worst thing is that, okay, I stop, it fails, and then I get right back in.
Get back in.
It's a no-brainer. I know what to do. I'm just I just end up not doing it. I don't know why. So I really do need to automate.
Now that you know that, why don't you put the process in place to get that done?
Yeah. Because bro, when you have a loss like that, it really took down my confidence a little bit.
Of course.
And then I realized I'm sizing down even more than I was already. I was already not really that bag of size, and now I feel like I'm not confident.
Exactly. And that's it, cuz. That's it. That's the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's a great question. All right, guys, so we just finished up live trading. We just finished up questions with George. His awesome car. I love this car. You have to chip it. And yeah, now it's 11:45 a.m. and I am done for the day. So now I gotta go back to my wife. I gotta deal with that. But that's it, guys. So if you guys like these types of videos, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel. Let us know that this is the content that you want to see, and George and I will shoot more of it. So thanks, everyone, and we'll see you on the next video.